Hey, this is Demetrius Witherspoon, writer, director, producer of sci-fi. Join me as I dive deep into the world of sci-fi, films, comics, mental health, and fascinating conversation with amazing individuals. Be ready to get submerged.
What's up, people? Here we are doing it again. I want to, first of all, again, this is Demetrius Witherspoon, and I am the creator and writer-director of the Submerge universe. And I've been a writer and director and making films for over 10 years now. So, but along with that, it's doing these different conventions. And so we're going to get into that. But first of all, I just want to talk about what I got on here. I'm going to let a few people get on for a second before I start that. And I'm going to make sure in my silver. Don't want to lose connection. Hang on one moment. All right. We'll wait for, let me make sure I am on the other channels also. Hey, we continuously learn as we go. I'm looking at. All right, there we go. So, if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. This is everything about sci-fi, but also it goes into so much more. Again, about dealing with mental health, and also with the different various ways that you can get sci-fi out there, or your product or your artwork or your comics out there. So again, about what I got on right here. This is Gamescom Film Festival, representing with the shirt and everything. Barry Gaines, he's an amazing director. He has a fantasy film, also not even the festival, but also his film series that he has. So you want to check that out. But go to Gamescom, and they're going to be in Las Vegas, and go check that out. They're film festival and expo, so you don't want to miss that. And they're going to have not only films, but also different people that are speaking. You get to meet all kinds of actors and producers and directors, and some awesome fantasy and sci-fi films. So go to Gamescom and let them know that Demetrius Witherspoon sent you. So again, representing. All right. Can you see that? I'll get up a little bit. There we go. All right. So let's get into it. How to sell your indie film at comic conventions. I put comic conventions because that's what I've done the most. But there's different ones that you can do. So let's first look at what your film is about. Now, if it's about horror, then you probably need to lean more toward like HorrorCon and all those different film festivals that kind of deal with horror or sci-fi or fantasy. Sometimes they have spots for that, but you want to lean toward that. So that's where your crowd is, and so that's where you want to lean to. Now, with me, I have sci-fi. So between the sci-fi, I have the Submerge universe, which is made up of 5 films, and then an animated pilot, which we won awards on, and also comics. Have a novelization of Submerge, uh, Echo 51. And then we also have a card game that was invented by Brett Robinson off our universe. So, Submerge Echo 51 card game. What else? There's so much more coloring books, action figures, pops. Um, I'm trying to look for something I can show you. Well, watch my other ones. We'll show you other stuff. Um, but yeah, all those things. Let me just show you a prototype of our first cards. That's how big they were. But we play tested with it. We got it down to smaller size, and um, now we're able to sell them at different cons. So this didn't happen overnight. Again, I've been doing this over 10 years. So getting started, I would say, and again, this is just me. This is how my journey has went, and this is what I've found. Everybody else might find a different way that works for them. So um, for me, starting out, I have my films, and a lot of people say, "Well, you can't do anything with a short." Well, that's true. As a lot of times you can't sell a short, but I found a way because I did multiple shorts, and it's all in the same universe. And then I was able to build around that, and that's part of my transmedia. So learn that transmedia. So it might not work for everything, but it could. So like romantic comedies, I don't know. You might be able to find something in that, but it wouldn't be at a comic convention. You wouldn't be able to sell that at a comic convention. Maybe if you had novelizations of that and it was leaning toward fantasy. But again, it depends on what con you're going to. All right. So with me, I had the films, and then as I started, I would say the very first con that I ever went to, I knew that uh first of all, going to conventions, first of all, to kind of see what's happening. Let me rewind that back. My first big convention or convention ever was Gen Con with over 70,000 people there. Now, it's a gaming convention, but I learned so much about marketing, not only games. It's like, well, I can apply that to my film. So looking at some of the cosplayers, they had their own um, trading cards. So I was like, okay, I can do that. I can make trading cards. If you got Photoshop, and then you got AI, but make sure it's your work. Okay, make sure it's your photos. So I took pictures of my characters and the actors as their characters. I even had artwork drawn of my characters, and then we made trading cards out of it. So, so look at other things that can go around your film. Okay. Now, sometimes it's not easy. It truly it is not easy, and you got to spend some money to make some money. So just look at have your film, make sure it looks professional as much as possible. Um, if it's a short, I would not go try to sell anything. If it's one short, and if it's like 15 minutes, um, 20 minutes, you might be able to, if you surround more stuff with it behind the scenes, get it up to an hour some kind of way, or 45 minutes, and put it on DVD. Or if you have multiple shorts, put it on there. But if you only have one, I would say wait until you combine it with something else. Okay. You can say the anthology of, whatever the series you're trying to make up, or, um, this is whatever your company name is, and these are all your short films on one disc. That's something you can do. But but make sure it looks really good. Let me show you. So like this is my Blu-ray. Okay. So when they get that, you want to make sure I don't have my other one in here, but make sure everything looks good. I know the shining on there. And so make sure everything looks good. Have your films together. And then you might bring some props with you, maybe from the movie. If you got the costume, maybe you find a mannequin somewhere, you can put the costume up. Anything that brings attention to your booth. And we're about to get into what kind of booth you can get. So one of the reasons, because it's very important to bring attention to what you're doing, one of the reasons that I started really talking about this is because when I post, there is so many people that inbox me. Is like, how can I get at this con, and how do I get this con? You have to do your research. Over the years, I asked that when I first started because I had sci-fi. So where do I get into that? So I first looked up different conventions and film festivals that was on Film Freeway. Again, that's Film Freeway. And a lot of that, it has some online, but it also have festivals that you attend. And some of those festivals have vendor spots. So count the costs, get you something low cost starting out, and get in there and meet some people. And don't go in with the attitude of, I'm going to sell all of these. I mean, you could, but the main thing is that your marketing, you're getting the word out about your product more than just online. You're meeting people face to face. The other thing is you're just starting out and nobody knows anything about you. They know nothing about you unless you were put into their program, and maybe they went through with all the 1,000 people and vendors they got. Maybe they went to your website to check you out, but nobody knows who you are. So you have to let them know who you are. This made me think of that Black Panther. Show them who you are. But anyway, so yeah, I try to let people know, because when they hit me up in my the DMs and everything and ask what cons can I get into, first thing I let them know is again, look at your genre, then also Film Freeway, but then also uh, go to Google, search a local con that is dealing with geek, dealing with film. Um, so just do that. Google that. Local Comic Cons, and they'll give you all the Comic Cons that are coming to your state or nearby. And so just starting out, try to hit local stuff so your cost is down of driving. Think of ways that you can get a booth, but kind of keep your costs down a little bit. I suggest starting out with an artist's a booth. Maybe have some artwork you can sell that are original from, the cover of your, the poster that you have for your film. You can also have some artists do some artwork from some characters of your film. Matter of fact, you can even have your actors there with you to help you sell your your DVDs or your Blu-rays or your movies. And if you don't have a whole lot of movies, make sure you have marketing there, some flyers, something, because you never know who's going to go ahead and look that up and say, hey, I want to check that out. But again, it takes a lot of patience and it takes time. So get I can't say it enough. It takes patience and it takes time. Remember, people don't know nothing about you. Okay. So you get that artist booth, and again, some of these I'm kind of flying through. I'm going to go ahead and call this part one because there is so much, and I'm always continuously learning because of the economy or uh, the way things are changing with AI and things like that. So, and that's a whole nother story too. You know, you gotta be careful. Or some cons they don't like AI artwork and things like that being there. So you got to be conscious of that. Um, so yeah, get a small booth somewhere. And again, like I said, stay local if you can when you're first starting out. I know you want to get to Comic Con and I'm gonna do this and in San Francisco, and but you gotta think of your cost driving. You gotta think of that booth, which can be anywhere from 500 on up to $1,000, $2,000. The artist booths are a little bit smaller. I mean, in price, they can run. Well, it just depends on what con it is. I'm not going to even try to give prices. You just got to kind of look. Once you find a con, go on the website and look under their vendor spots and just kind of see how much they're charging. But, there are some small geek comic cons that their booths start out at $100 or $75. You want to get some of those because you want to get your feet wet. And look, you kind of look at how long they've been going. Is this their first con? That means that they might not have a big crowd like they were, or if they've been going for a while. What is their attendance like? And that can vary because while they're having that event, there could be the Indy 500 going on. And so, or another big event across town. So, you got to kind of look at those. And a lot of times they try not to schedule it two big events in the same time if they can. But if it's a bigger city, there's always something going on. So, so look at their prices, get something affordable, and just realize you're going to take a hit, and you're not going to. I'm not going to say you're not going to sell 1,000 copies because somebody might be out there to sell 1,000 copies. I don't know, but keep it simple. So you have your table. Now, a lot of times, some of the cons, they give you a cloth on your table already. For me, I come from DJing and doing gigs with bands and things like that. So I'm already bringing stuff. I've went to Walmart and got me some dollar a yard material, or go to whatever local. We have Joanne Fabrics here. You can go in and get you some cheap black cloth to put over your table, or whatever cloth you want to do, until you can get up to make the money that you need and have your business name on there later on. Um, so yeah, so get you a smaller booth, get some cloth or something like that, cover your booth, make it look nice. Again, you want to attract people to what you have, and just try your best, because again, this is your first time out of the gate, or it might be 1,000 times, but just do what you can do. Okay. but you learn from each con that you do. Sometimes I take time out to walk around the con to look to see what people are doing, even if it's not films or if it's not comics. If they're selling hot sauce on one side of the building somewhere with comic characters on it, it's like, wow, that's a cool idea. So just kind of be looking out for that. But keep it simple. Have everything presented carefully, presentable, as much as you can. Have your backdrop or a pull up backdrop. Um, those run probably about 100 and something, depending on where you get it. Or even, what was that? You print or print on one of those, you know what I'm talking about. But you can get one of those uh, little hanging back drops with your logo and everything on it for like $34 or something. I'll think of it. I'll put it in the comments. But um, so yeah, just find a little company that might be able to print that for you. You might look locally, so you can have your name on something, or have it on a invest in a cloth that has your name on it. It might not fill the whole table, but at least have something on there, so people recognize your name. Because here's what's happening: you're building this, and then you go to the next con. And as you start to do conventions, and everybody knows this, everybody, especially if it's local or it's been around for a while, people shop at all these different cons. And so, it's a tour, it's a circuit. And so they might not get nothing at the one con, but they might get one at the next one. It's like, oh, you was at such and such, wasn't you? Okay, what you got? So uh, don't get disheartened, because a lot of times I see different artists, and especially younger artists, they just all mad because they didn't sell what they thought they were going to sell. And then that's when they start blaming the facility and the people that put it on. And sometimes it's just a crapshoot. After a while, you start to figure out which ones are the strongest ones. As and once you start figuring those out, then you can start to kind of build up your tour of those are the ones I want to hit. Um, and when I say strongest ones, I mean the attendance is good, the reactions from the attendees are really good, your sales were good. Okay. um if you sell one thing, that's a win, because you went in there not selling anything. So just kind of try to keep positive things in. And I know earlier I said don't go in thinking you're going to sell a million things. You can go ahead and have that attitude. It's good to have a positive attitude of what you're going to do, but realize that your first few cons, and maybe for a couple of years, you're going to be losing. You're going to be losing some money. Man, again, it depends on what you got going along with your film, but you're going to lose some money. But the positive things you can gain out of it, for one thing, you're gaining attention to your brand and to your film. And let me tell you, remember, if you're going to like the bigger cons and things like that, you do not know who's walking in front of your booth. There could be people from Marvel. There could be people from Disney. There could be all different kinds of people that are looking for something new. Okay. They're looking for new films, new avenues of something that they can kind of get into. The other thing is networking. The person beside you, the person next to you, because hey, they've been doing it for 20 years and they know which cons work really good. And looking at your stuff, they've been to that con and they've seen maybe one, maybe two people there that's been doing really good. So those are some positives out of it. And again, uh, part of it is marketing. Even though you're going to a real big con, shout it out. Tell everybody what booth you're going to be at, where you're going to be at. And especially with film, I suggest to, if you can, and you have somebody with you, do a panel because your knowledge is important. And so, even if you've done one film or two, you have knowledge of how you did that film. And there are people there, young people or people that have been wanting to get into film, and hey, they're coming to your panel. And what do you do while you're there at the panel? You're pushing your film. Come to my booth. You're pushing your film. They might not come to the booth, but make sure you have some marketing with you and give them something, a flyer. When I say marketing, it could be a flyer. QR codes are very important. Make sure that QR code goes to your website or to your Facebook or to your YouTube, to wherever your film is being placed, because sometimes, you know, you got to keep feeding it out there because um, people will go back through things sometimes and they'll look and say, oh, there was this guy, he had that film. All right, let me check that out. And they might get it, if you have it online, or they might go to Amazon and go check it out if it's on there, or Tubi. So you got to look at all those facets. Uh, so let's go back to the booth. You got your booth. Um, and you got your film, you got maybe some stuff to kind of draw people in if you got a little backdrop or some props. Um, so you can also, what's important is to work on your pitch. Okay, so when you go to a convention, a film convention, or a Comic Con, let's go Comic Con. Okay, there's flashing lights, everybody's trying to get everybody's attention. Okay. So you have to, not everybody can do it, but you have to be able to speak up. You can't just sit back there and think somebody's going to say, oh, your film is such and such. Oh, yeah, let me go check that out. No, you have to bring people to your booth. I talk to people. I'd be like, hey, you like sci-fi? Oh yeah, I like sci-fi. Well, this is my sci-fi series. Let them know that, hey, you are the creator of it. So a lot of times they're not going to be getting it anywhere else. This is it. And you're meeting me and you're getting on the ground floor of what I'm doing. Okay. So think of it in that way. And, um, keep your prices reasonable, because you got to think people are already paying big money to get into the convention, depending on what convention it is. Ticket prices, and if it's a whole family, that's some money. Okay, that's Disney money, maybe. Um, Again, depending on the con. I'm not saying every con is like that. Um, you know, and they're coming in to get autographs from, if they got famous people there, actors, YouTubers, things like that. So again, you have to get people's attention. So have something, think, what can I do to get people's attention? If you're just quiet nature, you need to find you a friend or somebody that can help you, that can talk, hey, this is the director. Okay. And you need to create a 30-second pitch, 30 seconds or less, because people they're searching, they're looking, but you only got that short of time to get their attention. Okay. Hey, my name is Demetrius Witherspoon, and this is my sci-fi series. Okay. It's about a lady that gets thrown into a multi universe and she has to find her way out and also fight for her daughter. This is made up of 5 films, animated series, and then we got the comics. And you wait. You wait to see what they're gonna say. So, okay, so this, where did it start first? And well, it started here first. And you kind of then you go into a little bit of detail because you're pulling them in. Okay, anybody that's watching this and been in my booth, you know what this is. So I'm just letting people know this is the way I do it. Uh, again, it depends on what your film is about, but um, you know, so you're capturing their attention, and you want to hold it there if you can, and you don't want to do too much. I got so much, I have to narrow it in. I can't go from comic books and then try to tell them all about the game and then I have to narrow it in. I go from the movies because that's where it started, then the comic books, and then we also have a card game. Oh my God, you got a card game? One time I went through the whole spiel, 30 seconds or less, and the guy was like, oh, and I got to the card game part. He's like, you have trading cards? I was like, yeah, I do have trading cards. He bought like 50 to 60 bucks worth of trading cards because, some cons, I just at least try to have something that people can collect and have, uh, you know, because that's key, because people want to get involved with what you're doing and you work so hard just to make a film and put it on the shelf. It's not, you know, you uh you work too hard to not get it out there and let people know about it, and so any other ways will bring them back to the film. So yeah, like trading cards, I didn't have that many out, but I did have some under the table that we hadn't pulled out yet, and so I had different variations that I've had ever since I started. Okay, and those sold, and I've sold more over time. So it takes patience, it takes time, and just remember. Hopefully, this is getting out. I see nobody coming on, but all right. Um, but yeah, 30 seconds or less. You want to, I've met people that went on and on, about their story, and you know, you only have a short attention span, or a short time to capture somebody's attention. Okay. Again, like I said, at all these different other cons, they've probably came in to go see a famous person from Marvel, an actor or Walking Dead. They've probably, that's where they were headed, but they passed your booth. So you got to realize, look at body language. If they're fidgeting, kind of looking around, hey, they're probably trying to get on to somewhere else, or, uh, you know, money thing. We'll talk about that too. So you only have that short period of time. So, say what you got to say, and make sure it's in true, and make sure you follow up with a card or something, a postcard, something, because a lot of people are like, I'm really trying to get over here to go get this signature. You got a card? So I have a bunch of those, something that directs them directly to the website or to your film. So make sure you have enough of those, because when they not interested in it right now and they say, well, let me look it up. Then if you don't have anything, then that might be a sale that you don't get. And don't think of a sale just for the con that you're at. It could be a sale that happens later. I ran into a lot of people over the years that the very first time they kind of walked past me, didn't even see me, didn't say much at all, and then come around the next con, they started buying things. So you have to have a positive attitude. So 30 seconds or less, uh, you know, give them time to think about it. And ask questions. Are you into horror? Are you into this or what have you? Are you enjoying the con? Don't just be there to sell something. Be conversational with people, because a lot of people, yeah, they're just kind of looking. They're enjoying getting engaged by all the vendors and everything that's going on. So some of them might just sit there and listen to what you have to talk about, and it might go beyond just this is my film and no, no, no. It might be, so how did you make this? How long did it take you? You know, that is key right there. And again, that gives them some knowledge of who you are and what you can do, but it also might be they're interested in also that you're helping that person. So there's it's not always about money for me. It's not always about money, but it's important, to make connections with people. And like I said, if you're not good at that, you might work on it. It might take a little time, but you might bring somebody with you that is. Okay. Larry Jones, my fight choreographer, could sell the sell you his shirt off his back, and you wouldn't even know it. And but he's good. He's good, and he's good at engaging people and get them to look at things, because some people don't know. They might not know what you got. They might think you got bootleg copies of films. They don't realize that that is your film, that you're an indie filmmaker. So you got to let them know, I'm a filmmaker. I thought of this. I wrote it down. I gave it to actors. They breathed life into it. I filmed it. I got a crew together. We filmed it locally. People like that. Oh, you're local. Wow. And yeah, my stuff is on Amazon Prime and Tubi, and we have our own streaming service. So I know this seems a lot, but start with those small things. And like I said, this is going to be a part one, because there's such other things to go into different cons. Um, but um, it's important to keep at it. Don't give up. All right. So I wanted to. I have it with me. I wanted to show you this. So sometimes, again, like, you don't want anybody to leave your table without you giving them something. Okay. And it could be a flyer, but also you can have stickers. People love stickers. Kids love stickers. Or you could have some candy on your table. That draws people over. Okay. But these are just some little things that you can do, and you can sell these stickers. But if you want to get you a small amount of stickers to be able to give to people, it could have your website or QR code on that. Still, they're getting something. Okay, people love getting something, and so, and to always get something that um, they don't always have to pay for something. They want to be able to have something you can give away. I want to double check and make sure I am live. Triple check. Give me 1 second. All right. Yeah. Okay. I'm there. uh, so, um, where was I? All right. So you let's see props. Make sure you own. Yeah, that was the other thing. Make sure you own whatever you're selling. I mean, if that's your movie and you own it, you created it, make sure it's yours. Um, and that's the other thing, part of Artist Alley. They'll have a list of things that you can sell at those tables because they're a little smaller, but majority of it's art or handmade things. So they have a list telling you, hey, this is what you can sell at the art tables. But some of the other tables are it might cost a little bit more and are bigger, 10 by 10. Could be a corner. Forgot the other sizes that they have. 10 by 12, 10 by 20, somewhere in there. But 10 by 10, most definitely. Um, so when you get to that, and see, I already have a lot of stuff that I've built up over the years. I got backdrops. Sometimes I'll have a TV, but after a while, I didn't do that because it is very expensive to get electricity at these Comic Con convention centers, especially the big ones. You're going to be spending, uh, $50, $60 just for electricity. So you got to think about that. How am I going to show my film while I'm at my table? Now you can maybe have a power source that you can bring with you, um, or just have a laptop that's what you're using it for, displaying your movie, having it on loop, or iPad. But that's not always the case because I, I just couldn't afford it as I started to go to bigger cons to try to get electricity for a TV and having it looped. I sold more movie everything without showing my film. I might have maybe had my iPad there, but that wasn't the main thing. It was just talking to people and making sure my booth is eye catching. I've won awards, multiple awards, because of my presentation of my booth. So that is key because you want to catch people's eyes to what your product is, and that your product is your film and whatever else you got to go along with that. And people love that. Um, so yeah, make sure you're selling what what is yours, not somebody else's. I mean, like, mm, well, I probably shouldn't get too deep into that. That's a whole nother story. But you do have your film, um, and try to think of some things that can go along with your film. Is your film can you have a coloring book made uh, from your film? I know when I have my uh, days that I set up um, to film and do sets on the set. Sorry, when I'm on the set filming, I take time out to take pictures of my actors in their costumes because they're already made up. Usually, you have majority of them there, and even if they're not there, say, hey, on this day, we're taking an hour out and we're getting pictures, you know, especially with sci-fi, because sometimes it takes a long time to get makeup on and things like that. So they're already in their costumes. So take a little time out, go ahead and have a photographer come in, get some pictures. Then that way you can be able to use that to market your film. And so Um, and everything that I have is pushing it back to the movies. And then the movies, whatever I make off of that is going either right back into getting more movies, or uh it's going into the fund to pay back the actors. And so that's another thing. So it's another revenue of cash, but it's good to have multiple revenues of uh of things, instead of just having your film. So having those pictures of the actors, you could have an actor come in and print pictures of them and have them sign it. Because I tell you, I've worked with a lot of good actors, and when the ones that are really about their craft, they're going somewhere, and you already know because they've been in your movie, or they've already been somewhere. And if they come in, that's a beautiful thing to be able to meet attendees. They're meeting actors, um, but actors are also able to meet other people. Um, so with that, they're able to sign an autograph or also meet the attendees. Um, but it's good that when it it's just an awesome feeling, and it's good for the attendees when they're able to meet part of somebody they see right there on the cover. Oh, that's you, or I had my actors come in their costumes from head to toe, makeup, everything, and we did a con, and people took pictures of them. And what cosplay are you from? Well, I'm from the Submerged universe. What's that? Well, that's the movie I'm in. Oh, the movie. So there's pictures out there of my characters, my cast as their characters, that hey, somebody's got it on their library. They probably got it on the screen somewhere. But as we go along and we pick up traction, people are going to look back. Wait a minute, I took pictures of that, you know, 2, 3 years ago. So, so those are things that you can look toward. Let me see if I'm getting any chats or comments. That's what I should be looking for. I'm still working on it. All right. So, yeah, just try to keep it as simple as possible, and don't get discouraged. Remember, go in there and have some fun. You're meeting all kinds of people, the people that you never would have met before, and a lot of times the actors that they got to go to the restroom sometime. And they walk past your booth. You say, "Hey, I love your work," you know, and you never know. I've had actors say, "I'll be right back." And he came back, and he's like, "I'll be back the next day to take pictures with you and your cast." And he's from Flash. Okay. So, um, those opportunities come up, and eventually you're going to make your money. Eventually, you're going to make your money. I'm not going to say you're going to make thousands of dollars, depending on what you got and where you go, but you're going to make some money. But is what will help is when you have multiple revenue streams. Okay, if you can. So this is the way I've done it over the years, and I can only tell you about my experience. Other people can tell you about theirs, but um, this is what I've experienced over uh, 10 years or so of going to conventions and things like that. And I'm always looking at different ways to engage other people, or people to get into my film. Um, you know, a lot of people's like, well, media is dead. So how are you going to sell? People love DVDs. and people love Blu-rays, DVDs more than Blu-rays. I've sold a ton of DVDs. Let me tell you that. And so, so you got to get just, you know, each con is, like I said, different. Test the waters, see see what it's like. Start small. Try to find a local one that's small before you go to the big boys. Okay, to see and see what you got. But start out small, build up as you go. Um, so, and also, I want to tell you about some different cons, like this one that I go to, Imaginarium. It was in Louisville, Kentucky. So I'm in Indianapolis, Indiana. So it's like Louisville's like hour or 45 minutes. No, wait. Louisville's like 2 hours away from where I was. So I kind of keep in a 2 hour radius right now. Some is a little bit longer. As over the years, I've expanded to go out. I know some comic book people, they go like to San Francisco to the Comic Con, or San Diego, should I say, and to the LA Comic Con too. Or there's big ones down in Florida and things like that. So every place is different. You have to see what works for you. And if you get to a big con and you're making good money, because some people do, especially Chicago and things like that. I haven't hit Chicago yet. That's right. I've stayed in my perimeter of, I've worked this area, but eventually we're gonna get up to Chicago. Um, there's all different kinds of Comic Cons and um, conventions up there uh, that people can get into, and so you just got to look them up and get there. Um, and don't give up. It's easy because you're not selling a whole lot. But like I said, the most important thing is to have different revenue streams. You can't just go in there with one movie, because you're not going to do that well. You got to have multiple revenue streams. So you're buying DVDs, but also, like eventually I got comic books. So now I can hit not only film festivals, but comic book festivals also. And that was the one thing I was going to say about the festival in Louisville. It's a Imaginarium. It's a author and film festival. So it's a author, book, and film festival. So you have all kinds of amazing authors that do sci-fi, romantic books, all that, and then you got the film festival that's there too. So you have directors, you have actors. So they have two things going on, and they've grown over the years. So Imaginarium, look that up in Louisville, Kentucky. I know there's another one somewhere, but this is the one for Louisville Imaginarium, and then I know they got another byline under that. But look into that. So look in your surrounding areas. Get an artist table, get a small table, get a booth somewhere. Maybe it might be a school function or anywhere where vendors are and the price is not really high when you're starting out, and set you up a booth. Get you, if you can get a little something that shows your film out there, but also get that 30 or less spiel of what your film is about and make it engaging. Try it out on somebody, and you might have to change it up as you go along. You might have to change it up depending on what the crowd is. So don't just be stuck on one thing. Try to pull people in, and just have a positive attitude, have a good time, and try to connect with as many people as you can. Even your attendees, make sure they that are coming past the booth or coming to the booth, you got your candy, you got your flyer. Make sure they get one because there's that QR code on it. Get something in their hands, okay? Because you never know who is looking at it and you know checking it out. And make sure you have everything set up, not only at the con, but set up on the back end. So your movie, if it's just on DVD, maybe have it digitally. And when people's like, I don't do DVDs, well, we got to wait. We got it digitally also download. Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'll check it out. Well, here goes the QR code to go do that. Okay. So uh, try to keep that in mind. Not all the time are they going to buy something physically from you, but try to have everything, you know, fixed up on the back end too. Like I said, your website, your pages that you have on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram or Thread, have all those easily accessible so people don't have to, if they go looking, if they go looking, that they are um, able to find it easily. Because if people got to search real hard, think about it. Put yourself in their shoes. If they're going to search real hard for something, a lot of people are not going to do it. Okay, so make it accessible. So these are just a few of the things that can help you sell your indie film at comic conventions or conventions that are dealing with geek stuff, or even some author conventions, or maybe some that are at schools. They might have some kind of, I don't know, a bake sale or anything like that. But make sure your film is appropriate for whatever place you're going to. If you got a horror slasher and you're going to a little grade school, little vendor thing, then you're not going to sell much and you might not be able to be back. Those are some other key things too. Treat everybody kind, because people talk, and with Facebook and with social media, you know uh you don't want to have a bad example or something put out online about you. I mean, those things can happen, but I'm just saying, treat everybody kind that comes through, even if they don't want anything. I've had people that's like, I don't even read this kind of stuff. I don't even do that, you know. But you know what? I treat them with kindness, and I've seen them again somewhere else, and they're like, "Wouldn't you? Yeah, you're the one with the sci-fi. Oh wow, you're doing a lot, aren't you?" Their attitude was totally different, but the very first time they was just like, "No, It's like, you doing this locally? Really? Did you really have these people in it? Oh my god, yeah." You can get some characters. You got to kind of have thick skin. And again, you're dealing with the public. Again, this is your product, your film. All right, I'm looking at time. I can go on and on about this, 10 years worth of stuff. But again, this is another avenue of being able to get your film in front of people. Because some people, yeah, they're on their phones, they're downloading and things like that, but there are a lot of people that collect things. They collect unique things. So try to think of something uniquely about what you have, and see what you can do that's out of the box. Search around, might go to a con where you don't have a booth. Look, see what people are doing, and then come up with something that's out of the box. And then people, that's unique. I've never seen that before. You know what? let me do my rounds and I'll be right back. Those are the words you want to hear. And guess what? They do come back. Okay. And if nothing else, before it's like, let me be right back, give them something, a flyer. But as you keep going, you'll find people, let me be back. Let me come back. Okay. Especially if you got a 3-day one. If it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, everybody's kind of holding on to their money. So they're doing a round. And they're doing a round. So they see you. Then Sunday, it's like, hey, I was going to get that from you. Let me get that. Because what? You done seen them for hours through the circle, right? And you say, hey, you still making it? Or, they see you. So sometimes you get a sale out of that. So keep a positive attitude. Keep at it. Don't give up. This is part 1 of how to sell your indie film at comic conventions. There's so much more. So stay positive. Thank you, everybody, for getting submerged. You can find my films at Submerge Universe TV. Again, that's Submerge Universe VHX. That's V like in Victor, HX like in X-ray. .tv.com, and you can stream all 5 of my films there. So and you can also see all the extras and behind the scenes. So I want to thank you for getting submerged with Demetrius Witherspoon. Until next time.
Hey, this is Demetrius Witherspoon, writer, director, producer of sci-fi. Join me as I dive deep into the world of sci-fi, films, comics, mental health, and fascinating conversation with amazing individuals. Be ready to get submerged.